Let's bring in right now Dean Baker. He's co-director at the Center for Economic and Policy Research. He joins us from Washington to talk more about Senator Dodd's proposal. Dean, is this what you expected? Is it as tough as some expected?
Yeah, I mean, given the way the things we've been hearing about it, it's pretty much in line with what I'd expected. I mean, one of the things, as Phil had mentioned, we have the Volcker rule in there that basically depository institutions are not supposed to engage in proprietary trading. In fact, somewhat more stronger wording than what President Obama had originally proposed. So that was good to see in my view. Some of the other issues, it takes away the control of the New York Fed, or the appointment of the president of the New York Fed, from the banks in the district, and gives it to the president, which again is an interesting move. I think a good step in the right direction, although it raises the question about why the banks are picking the bank presidents of the other 11 districts.
Right. But
it's a relatively strong bill. Dean,
let me ask you something, because the Senator Chris Dodd said in his press conference, he said we end too big to fail bailouts. I mean, is there really any way to legislate too big to fail?
Well, I think the key issue there is, are you going to break up the large banks? It's very hard to imagine a story where we just let Citibank, or Bank of America, JP Morgan, if they were to get in trouble, that you would simply let them go under. You do create a better resolution structure, but my guess is the markets are still going to look at them and bet that they're too big to fail. So, you know, when it comes to the big question, do you say we're going to break up the big banks so that they're small enough they're digestible? Senator Dodd ducked on that.
He did duck on that. I mean, so ultimately, bottom line, this could go through, and we're still in a situation where we have firms that are too big to fail, and bottom line, the government and all of us taxpayers have to bail them out.
I think at the end of the day, we're still going to be seeing that story. I mean, if you want to get away from that, you have to put some serious size limits. This provides terms under which those banks could be whittled down to size, but that's not going to happen. You're not going to see regulators break up JP Morgan, Citigroup. You're not going to see that happen unless they're told to do it. And this bill certainly does not tell them to do it.
What about, Dean, on the issue of transparency? Senator Dodd made the point of saying that this was about transparency and accountability to exotic instruments like hedge funds and derivatives. I mean, can the government really stay ahead of Wall Street and their exotic instruments?
Well, in principle, I mean, there's steps in that direction, but, you know, is that going to be maintained? Does it really batten down the hatch? I don't think so. And the whole point about the financial industry, this is an industry that's very innovative. It specializes in getting around regulations. So unless you create a situation where you pretty much say, no, you're not going to get around the regulations, you try to play games, you're going to pay a really big price, they're going to play games. So this is a step forward, but I don't think it really deals with the fundamental issues here.
All right. Meaning what specifically?
Well, I mean, if you really want to crack down, for example, I'll just take one case, derivative trading. You should basically make it almost impossible to have a non-exchange traded derivative, that just about everything, you know, short of, very unusual contracts that will be few and far between, is going to be exchange traded. This will have more derivatives be exchange traded, but basically if someone doesn't want to have their derivatives be exchange traded, you'll be able to find ways around it.
I mean, Dean, when you listen to what Senator Dodd is proposing here, do you see the handwriting of all the financial lobbyists all over it?
Well, I have to say, there's a lot of this is going to be in the fine print that I've not had a chance to read through. It's 1,300 pages. I read as much as I could in the 2 hours or so it's been out. But, you know, they are trying to whittle away at the corners. There are exemptions for the Consumer Financial Products Protection Agency they got in the House bill, so the exemptions for payday loans, car dealers. I haven't had a chance to see whether that's in there or not. Right. I mean, those are big issues, and you know the industry fought hard for that. Again, I was mentioning derivatives for a moment. Is there an exemption for end users? As best I could tell, no, but I didn't read the section as carefully as I would have liked. There's a foreign exchange exemption in the House bill. Again, I don't think that's there, but I didn't read it as carefully as I would have liked.
Right.
So I can't say the extent to which they've gotten their hands on it.
All right, Dean, you are down there in Washington. I mean, do you think ultimately is there enough momentum to get this done this year?
My guess is probably not. I think what I like here is I think Senator Dodd's put up a relatively strong bill, and I think it makes much more sense for Senator Dodd, for President Obama to say, here's a bill that will actually do something, and let the Republicans, if they choose, block it, rather than come up with a bill that's so watered down that it really wouldn't make much difference whether it passed or not. I think this passed that test. I'm not absolutely certain, having not read it as closely as I would like.
5 seconds. Do you feel like the Democrats are giving in too much to the Republicans? Just very quickly, if you could.
I haven't looked at closely enough to say that. I worry about it. I'm not sure.
All right, that's fair enough. I think it's, what, 1,100 pages? I don't think any of us have gotten through it. Dean, thank you so much. Dean Baker, co-director at the Center for Economic and Policy Research.